Your eyes up in the morning, beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horses kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.
Howdy there, I'm Matt McKinley and we're burning daylight.
In the saddle till the job's done right.
Welcome to Burnin' Daylight, the only podcast for the working cowboy. Well, howdy there, daylight burners. Happy Tuesday. Hope you all had a good weekend. Long weekend. Hope you had a good Memorial Day. I hope you haven't got too down over the past week. There's a lot of dark shit going on in the world, and I don't know what to make of a lot of it. Memorial Day is a pretty somber, kind of bordering on sad holiday, and I don't know. I don't think I personally know anybody that died in combat. My biological dad was in Vietnam, and he saw combat, was wounded and whatnot, and fucked him up pretty good for life. Not the wounds so much, but the mental health. And but outside of that, I don't really have anyone close to me that I lost in war. So Memorial Day kind of seems like it's a time for somebody who's got a little more intimate connection to it to take the lead on that one. So I just kind of grill my steak and do a little salute to the flag, and that's kind of about it for me on Memorial Day. I don't have a whole lot more to say about it, and kind of with same way with these school shootings. That's some just dark evil shit, and people are all hopped up over it on both sides, and yeah, that's probably not going to slow down any soon. And I've said my piece on the gun stuff, and there's this one in Texas in particular is just it sucks, and frankly I don't care to cover it anymore. That not I don't have anything that's gonna add anything to the conversation. So yeah, prayers to all the families there. That's rough. So anyway, it's been trying to stay up on the news and whatnot for the show, and just in general, I try to stay kind of up to date on shit happening, and it's this is one of those weeks where it's just been fucking depressing. It's just nonstop coverage over just depressing shit, and I found myself more and more listening to books or just seeking out comedy to listen to while I'm riding pins, and kind of take your mind off all the other shit that's going on. I I went and saw a comedy show in Reno on Thursday night. Dave Smith, he's host of part of the Problem podcast. I've talked about him quite a bit. The Libertarian National Convention was in Reno on this weekend, and I think you're gonna see a lot of stuff coming out of the Libertarian Party in the next couple of years that you hadn't seen previously. So I don't know. Stay tuned there. I'm not gonna hold my breath that there's gonna be a huge movement coming out of the Libertarian Party. But the people that the Dave Smith is associated with are pretty solid libertarians and pretty common sense type people, and their folks pretty well took over the whole Libertarian Party, and I don't know. Like I said, I'm not gonna hold my breath that anything significant comes out of that, but seems like maybe they got a good start to get something going. So we'll see how it goes. But it was good to go to a live comedy show. Um, it was there was it was the biggest bunch of nerds outside of Comic Con. Like it was like Comic Con without the costume. Well, without as many costumes. And it was fascinating. Really good people watching. I will say they're gonna have to get some cooler people involved to help get the word out, because a lot of neckbeards, um, lot of portly fellas, and more autism than you can shake a stick at. Man, yeah. Like if you thought I go into these long like rabbit hole type very detailed arguments over politics. Holy shit. Like I'm minor league compared to these dudes, and there was a handful of women. I think there was a couple hundred people in that room. And there was a handful of ladies and a lot of dudes, But it was cool to go to a comedy show. It's been a while since before the pandemic that we've been to a comedy show, and but nerds were really excited, really fucking excited to talk economics and politics, and but they were ready to laugh, and so it was good energy out throughout the whole room, and the comedy was pretty solid all the way through, and uh, got to sit through a live podcast, and it was a little too much inside baseball within the Libertarian Party for um, me to really be invested in. So I think we ended up leaving a little bit early on that, but it was cool. I got to meet Brian McWilliams from the Lions of Liberty podcast. We did a swap podcast once before with young Katie. I got to meet him in person. Been I've been a supporter of theirs for quite some time, so I've known him for a little bit, but got to shake his hand and drink a beer with him. So that was fun. He's a good dude, tall son of a bitch. Like, yeah, didn't realize he was as tall as he was, but yeah, good dude, and yeah, it was pretty fun time. Did not get back to watch Ron Paul speak. I was a little disappointed there, but yeah, inflation, am I right? Gotta we're not hurting by any means, but you definitely feel that shit in the pocketbook nowadays. It's yeah, yeah, we were living high on the hog, just willy nilly. We'll go here, we'll go there. Now it's like, ooh, all right, well, we gotta, let's see, can we string a couple together so maybe we like get a little more bang for the buck? Uh, Maybe not, but anyhow, I titled this episode "Laugh, Damn It," because well, since it was just kind of a dark, mopey type of depressing week in the news, and there was there was a few things that were funny to talk about, but you really kind of had to dig for them because it was just nonstop coverage of school shooting and aftermath of that, and ugh, yeah, there's only so much of that you can take before. Yeah, yeah, there's only so much of that. So I got to watching a lot of comedy, and and then the the more and more comedy that I've been listening to lately. It seems like more and more people are willing to step out of the little like mainstream little niche where they kind of got everybody funneled into that little corporate where it's you know, you got to have your diversity quota, and you got to, your squeaky clean jokes, and and you have more and more people putting out their specials on YouTube. They're going around the corporate model and just doing good comedy and putting it out there. But I was watching Ricky Gervais on Netflix, his new special, and my God, that guy went hard in the paint. Uh, it was really really freaking funny, and he any of the taboo topics most of the taboo topics got covered, but he really went in hard on the trans stuff, and it was really funny. Like uh and it's funny, like even a guy who's as unfiltered as Ricky Gervais keep coming back to like jokes, people. They're just jokes. And yeah, and it's just like, man, it is okay to laugh at shit. Like my little girl tripped and just like blasted her face, like skidded across the floor the other day. And I was running over to pick her up, make sure she was okay, but I was laughing at the same time because god damn it, it was funny. Like, yeah, you're not supposed to laugh, but funny's funny. It's laughter is an involuntary reaction. I forget where I first heard that, but it's true. Like a real laugh is involuntary. It comes when whatever you find something funny. A lot of times it comes in the most inopportune moments. I have that weird deal in my mind where I can't let a good funny go unnoticed. I gotta I gotta come out and say it. Like if it's the elephant in the room and it's funny, like I'm usually the guy that will say something. And yeah, I feel like there's been so much good comedy just wasted over the past several years because people get too caught up in politics. And I man, I'm a firm believer that you got to stay you got to stay informed on what's going on around you, but I'm also becoming a firmer and firmer believer that there are some people that just need to tune out politics completely and just stick to sports, stick to like celebrity gossip, and yeah, there's there's people like Marjorie Taylor Greene don't need to be elected to office. As funny as she can be, she was getting roasted on Twitter for she she said she was talking about lab fake meat grown in the lab, grown in a peach tree dish instead of a petri dish, which it's funny little gaff, and that's what they used to call them, was gaffs. And Biden was the king of that. Um, but yeah, so it was trending on Twitter for a solid day, which kind of funny. Um, little it seems like a little maybe a little desperation on the lefty side to like it's kind of nitpicky to, but also funny. Either way, it's but also like it's funny how it's funny how the woke stuff has honestly just turned into your like overly Baptist aunt from the 90s where you just like, yeah, everybody's having a good time, and then your aunt just has to bring it back to how you should be everything that you should be doing in this life is to glorify God, and no unnecessary happiness to be had. And so uh if anybody's not on Twitter, probably you're better off without it, honestly. But it is a good source of entertainment, and it's a good source of kind of staying up to what like the daily news cycle is. But how it works, you can go to the search section, and there's two different deals, and it's like curated for you section, kind of I guess similar to the to how TikTok does it for your for you page. Um, and it's the same thing, and it's a list of topics that are trending that you might like, and then you can go to the what's actually trending, and then it's like the top 30 either people or topics that are trending across the. I've got mine set for the nationwide, and it was pretty high up. It was in the top 10. Was trending was Sweden Gate, and I was like, I wonder what this is. Like, is Sweden doing some shady shit over there? Or like they are they doing covert operations against Russia or what? You know, because they're trying to join the EU, and I'm like, what are the Swedes doing? Like this sounds juicy, and you had to. So like I always it, you click on that, and then it'll sort them by like your top tweets or the latest tweets. And something like this, I always want to go to like the top tweets, because those are going to be like your earlier ones. So the ones that have been like what started it trending in the first place. And it started was people shitting on Swedish people for like not giving food. Or like if you get invited to a party, you don't bring food over. Um, but you will gladly accept gifts if people are coming to your house, and then they like act it's expected. And they were they were basically just shitting on the Swedish people for being uh kind of just cheap assholes. And and it and then it turned into people wokeifying it, and they're like, "Well, did you know that a bunch of people way back when there were factories in Sweden that used to make the chains that were used on the slave ships, and so now Sweden's still a bunch of assholes because they participated in slavery 500 years ago." And you're just like, "Ah, can we just make fun of the modern day Swedes for being a bunch of cheap assholes? Is that not good enough? Like, but like we've gone into like some real niche history shit where we're looking up the manufacturers of slave chains in in Nordic countries back in the 17 and 1800s. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Let's oh, can we just make fun of the Swedes for being shitty house guests, or whatever it was that they were they were mocking the Swedes for? Like, everybody seemed to be having a pretty good time with just that. Even the Swedes were kind of chiming in, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we kind of do suck." Hey, everybody's laughing. You know, like, is that not good enough, or do we just have to go ahead and make everything about um, self-loathing and just being outraged? Just oh, the sport of being outraged. Um, I'll be really, really happy when this particular fad is over, and when we can even more make fun of it, and like nostalgic. We can get nostalgic about the trans era. Uh, I wonder what would happen if somebody went full trans. You know, got the dick lopped off and everything, and then like later down the road, they just like not all that they cracked up to be. They thought it was going to be, and but then they still get nostalgic for the days when everybody was just like on their side, and just like, man, remember when people really used to care about the trans? You'll be you know then when that happens, all you trans people, then you'll know what it's like be us poor white folks, particularly us straight white males. And remember, I am half white, half Mexican, so I get to play both sides of this deal, and I like it that way. So, uh, but yeah, that's when you'll know when people stop caring about the trans rights deal, um, and you get all nostalgic for back for the good old days when this country really cared about their trannies. Yeah, then you'll know how the whites felt. Then you'll know how the gay men felt. And you'll know how the women felt when Leah Thomas broke all their records. Oh, it's all gonna come full circle one of these days. Just have a. It's like the old hippies now. Like you see them, they're still wearing tie dye, and they're ancient because it's 2022, and they had the time of their life in the 60s, and but they're still just like hanging on. They're still selling weed at the next iteration of the Grateful Dead show, and it'll be just it'd be like yearly protests, like how they send the World War II veterans back to Normandy for a memorial every year that they can, and there's just like less and less of them as they all die off because that's just what happens. And and I'm not trying to make light of all those. That's I have great respect for those dudes that fought in World War II. Um, but it'll just be like yearly commemorative marches in Minneapolis on George Floyd Day because we can't not remember George Floyd, and it's just like a bunch of old saggy skinned purple haired wildebeests. They're just like old wildebeests, and they're just like a few less of them every year. But they're all like morbidly obese, so the memorials won't last long. They'll just die of diabetes by you know by 2030. There should only be about a handful of them left because just between the diabetes and and the increased blood pressure from just shrieking all the time, um, and just continual outrage, their hearts probably are going to give out within the next 5 to 6 years, I would guess. But it just be they'll be out there with their walkers and their signs that like trans rights are human rights and and whatever our kids will be onto, just be like, oh yeah, you remember that? Remember that growing up? Like that was fun. That was fun. Our parents are idiots. uh I can't wait to when my kids are old enough to just roast me and my wife for all the stupid shit that we've done over the years that when they get to that like 24, 25 year old range when their brains fully developed and they've been out in the world enough to where like you guys didn't have a fucking clue, did you? Yeah, I'm looking forward to that point so I can get roasted by my kids and not have to reprimand them for it because I'm not taking care of them anymore. So it'll be like, yeah, like just make me laugh and it's all fair game. And I'm looking forward to those days. Uh, but it's funny. They're already little shit talkers and you know you want to kind of toe that line. You want to be quick on their feet and witty and not take any shit, but also be respectful. And I think we do a pretty good job of it. I hope so. But I know one thing's for sure, is they will not be the last one to fire back a comeback. They will yeah, they'll be able to roast just about any of their friends when well, at any point they already can, so it's pretty funny. But yeah, I just wonder what are all those people that are just real fired up about the like the people that were protesting in front of like the Supreme Court justices' houses. Like what happens to you like as you get older? And I always kind of wondered that about the anti-abortion activists. Same thing, you know, like you just see them out in front of Planned Parenthood there in Fort Collins, and it's just like, hmm, I don't understand it. And like as I guess the difference there is maybe those like the purple haired nut jobs that are all, you know, young today. Maybe they'll turn into like anti-abortion activists as they get older, and because like all the people out in front of the abortion clinic there, and I don't even know if they performed abortions there, but out in front of the Planned Parenthood there in Fort Collins, um, they were all old folks, and so I don't know. Like I didn't protest when I was younger, and I'm just not much of a protest guy, I guess. But I don't know, like, how's that play out, you know, later on in life? It does make me wonder. But like, surely there'll be like 30 years from now, there'll be a contingent of like Antifa and like the hardcore trans activists will have a candlelight vigil there commemorating St. George Floyd. Um, yeah, at some point there's got to be some still, or will that just like uh get get forgotten? I wonder. I wonder. It's kind of insane like that for whatever reason that this one dude high on fentanyl and meth trying to buy cigarettes, I think with a counterfeit $20 bill, set off one of the worst summers in American history, as far as at least modern American history. It's, you know, one of the most violent summers of my lifetime, anyways. And it, it's just some some black dude with a real shady past, high out of his mind, trying to buy shit with a counterfeit bill, set that off. And it's kind of like uh, the shot heard around the world for World War One with Gavrilo Princip, which was this little weak, scrawny Serbian dude, or Bosnian Serbian. He was Serbian, and yeah, he was the only one of like seven kids to survive, and he was always like kind of sick and weak and sickly throughout his whole life. He tried to sign up for military service several times and got turned down. And yeah, he he organizes this plan, or at least helps organize this plan to assassinate Archduke Franz Ferdinand. And stop me if you've heard this. Oh fuck, you can't. I guess you can, but I'm gonna keep on going because uh, I just re-listened to it on Dan Carlin, and I read a couple other deals, and it was just how it all laid out. You know, this arch dude was coming in, and he he was from the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and this was in Bosnia, Sarajevo. I think that's Bosnia. And yeah, and it was on the same day as or the same week or whatever as some like big celebration that they had, and it was kind of a slap in the face to the Serbians, and they planned out this deal to assassinate him because it was just like JFK deal where they posted the parade route a couple days beforehand so people could shower their praise on him. But it also allowed them to set up all their there was like, I don't know, 6 or 8 assassins or something like that, and they went off just like they said it was going to. Here he comes down the street, and this was like it was a bunch of college kids basically. Wasn't really even, I don't know if it was university or what, but they were students, and like communist, anarchist, somewhere socialist, just your typical university student type, lefty, revolutionary type, and not very well trained in anything, and they had some really shitty weapons, but they passed by the first guy and he clammed up and he didn't take the shot, so got to like the third or fourth guy, and he steps out and he throws a hand grenade, and it had a 10-second fuse, so it like bounced off the Archduke's door, and then the car behind it actually ran over it and it blew up there. So they just like hauled ass through the parade route. He went to the town hall or wherever and gave the speech that he was supposed to give. The Archduke did, and the rest of the guy that threw the bomb, he took a cyanide pill. They gave him all cyanide pills, so he swallows his and he jumps into the river. But the cyanide pill wasn't deadly enough. It only made him puke. And then the river was only about 6 inches deep, so he didn't float away. So they just like grabbed him up and hauled him off for interrogation. And then the Archduke goes and gives his speech and decides, well, we'll just dodged a bullet there, so might as well just go back down the parade route so they can see me again. And but then, because of the security and everything from earlier, he had the driver had to go down a different way, got lost, and ends up right in front of this Gavrilo Princip guy who, after the bomb didn't get him, they all dispersed and he went to go grab a sandwich. Was sitting there eating a sandwich, and here comes the car with the Archduke and his wife. And then they had to turn around and go back the other way, but then they stopped as they were turning around, and he jumps out of the little cafe and shoots the Archduke and his wife right there. And then essentially, in response, Austria invades Serbia and kicks off World War One. And I don't know if George Floyd kicked off World War III, but he kicked off something. It might have kind of kicked off Civil War 2.0. I don't know, but it's funny how people like that just that probably shouldn't have any sort of significance throughout history end up being like huge players. And I don't know. It's kind of shitty, but also pretty goddamn funny at the same time. you got a crackhead and and some like basically the soy boy of the 1900s, the early 1900s, like a Serbian soy boy and a and a crackhead in Minneapolis set off a chain of events that who knows how it's all going to turn out. But fuck, let's make some jokes and laugh at it while we're going down the path, huh? Anyway, Yeah, I hope you guys are doing all right out there. It's yeah, times can be kind of tough, and I don't know. It's probably, like I said, probably gonna get tougher before they get better. But anyway, it's always good to have a laugh. I hope I can provide a few here and there to you. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Have a good week and move your ass. We're burning daylight. Laugh, damn it.
Your eyes up in the morning, beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horse is kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. We'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right. Burning daylight. Well, life is just a gather, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right.